Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to continue the Diamond Vulnerable series, Challenge 5, Rewarder. So previously we have been trying to attack the flash loan system. Today we are going to leverage the flash loan and trying to attack the reward system. So over here we have 4 contracts. The first contract is basically allows us to deposit and then get token. So in this way, we can get rewards because of our deposit. So this token is a ERC20 token, but this token basically is just to remember how many deposit you have done. So it's a symbolic. So it's you have two function, mint and burn. Basically, burn you the tickets and mint you the tickets and burn your tickets. All right. And of course, it's access control, so only the mint who has the mint, snap, and the burn rule can call mint and burn. So other people cannot call these two functions. In addition, there's the uh, the transfer is disabled. So basically, once you get your ticket, you cannot give the ticket to somebody else. You cannot transfer to another person. Approve is also disabled. So this is very simple token, but they do support snapshot. So in this way, it's going to remember at which snapshot ID, how many token you are holding, because they are going to base on the number of token you hold to give you the credit for giving you the rewards. Okay, so we're going to talk about this snapshot function in a little bit more detail. All right, so it's a ERC20 snapshot. So let's continue to talk about that one. This ERC20 snapshot is a contract, which is a utility contract. And as you can see, it's a subclass of ERC20. But what additional thing ERC snapshot is doing is basically remember at each point what is the value. For example, what is your balance and so on. So there's ID over here. So each snapshot is a time point that it's recorded. So for example, if you record right now, it's a snapshot 1. Tomorrow, it's snapshot 2. But the the window between one snapshot to the other could be different. So you could take one snapshot every 1 second, or you can take one snapshot a day. So it doesn't have to be the same. Anytime you call the function, there's going to be a new snapshot created. And then this counter, remember what is the current snapshot it's using now. All right, so then remember the current snapshot. And here we are trying to create two tables. The first table, you can think of it as 3 table. You can think of it as 3 column table. So this one is address to map snapshot. That will remember every account's balance at each snapshot. Okay, so you can consider this is like a 3 column table. First column address, second column ID, third column value. So which is the balance. And then this one is simply a 2 column table, which is only ID and value. So first column is the snapshot ID, second column is what is the total balance at that snapshot. And then this one is the current snapshot right now, the most recent one. So when you call the snapshot, basically it's going to like increase the snapshot ID by 1. So for now, for easy understanding, let's say every day you call this function only once, okay? But as I just explained, you can call this function, really up to you. But for the moment, for easy understanding, let's say every day you call this once. So so it's going to be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So and then the the current snapshot will be the current day number, right? Okay. So then you can call this to get the current snapshot ID, which day are we talking about? And then this allows us to do query of the of the table, this first table called this table, account balance snapshot, which is 3 column, address, ID, and value. So I could return the balance at for a particular account and for a particular snapshot ID. Okay, so that's queried by value add. So you take the snapshot ID and from this particular table, account balance snapshots, and for this particular row account, we retrieve the value. So that will give us a snapshot of this account for this snapshot ID. Okay. So and then the return value also have this bool to show if the snapshot ID is valid or not. Because if you give a random snapshot ID, this will return false, means this snapshot ID is not valid. Okay, if it's valid, if it's true, then we return the value of oh, I see. If it's a false, then we simply return the most recent account. So that means if you provide a snapshot ID that let's look at this. So let's look at this one, value add. Okay. Okay. So if a snapshot ID is greater than 0, it's required, and if a snapshot ID is valid, means it's smaller or equal to current snapshot ID, then we return this, and then over here I think the I try to return true and false. So if index, what is index over here? Okay. Okay, I got it. So basically, this snapshot ID is trying to find out the index of the snapshot ID, and if it's the last index, that means this is the last snapshot ID stored in the snapshots over here. The ID, all the snapshot ID is stored over here. Okay. So they are all stored over here. Let's say when this is stored. Oh, okay. So we have an updated snapshot over here. Okay. So it looks like we can increase the snapshot. So we can call the updated snapshot, and then the current snapshot ID. The current snapshot ID is going to be pushed in the list of the snapshots IDs. Okay, so this snapshots.ids is the list of snapshot IDs that's stored whenever we call the update snapshot. Okay, so that means we can check. We can return last snapshot ID, which is the last one. So the last one is the last index, which is the length minus 1 is the last index. So so that gives you some idea. All right, so let's go back. So we can get the current snapshot ID that we can use, and then this is going to return a balance at this particular snapshot ID. If this snapshot ID is the last one, which is going to return true, this one, return if the snapshot ID is the last one, then it's going to return this. Okay, if we can find it. Otherwise, we return this. So, and this one, we are going to be able to return the total supply at a particular snapshot ID. And this is actually possible because whenever there's a transfer, the default transfer function is going to be called. It's like a hook. So it's going to update all the balance of each from and the to account, and also it's going to update the total supply over here. So the two table I just talked about is going to be modified for the from, for the to, and for total. Okay, so this is simply return a value at particular one. So this one is snapshot ID has to be in the history. If snapshot ID is not valid, it's going to revert. And if it's indeed valid, we try to calculate the index of the snapshot ID. If the index is equal to this, means it's greater than the last index, then we are going to return false. Otherwise, we return true. So this index is going to be find upper bound. So which is going to be equal to length if we cannot find it. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about this one right now. So this one allows us to update account snapshot for this account. Yeah, using, of course, the current snapshot ID. This one allows us to update the total supply for this current snapshot ID. And this one update the snapshot, the list over here. Okay, and it's going to make sure the current ID is going to be greater than this, the last snapshot ID over here. And then this is return index. Okay, so that's very much of it. So let's come back to the accounting. So that's very much for accounting. Then we have flash loan pool. This is where we can borrow the token. Nothing fancy over here. Check the before, check the current, and then it's going to call the caller, which is supposed to be a contract, call the receive flash loan. So we are supposed to return the money back in this function. All right. And then if the balance is going to be not less, then the flash loan will be successful. We also have the non-reentrant to prevent reentrance attack. So nothing fancy over here. The reward token is the reward token that people will give to those people who deserve reward. So it's simply you can use it. This is a regular reward token. So the only thing is mint. This only is mintable by the mint rule. So only the mint can mint this in this example. And then we can mint to the whoever has the mint rule over here. So the constructor allows the whoever deploy this reward token is going to have the mint rule. So finally, the reward pool. This is where the main contract is going to be. So over here, you see the reward token is actually created by the reward pool in the constructor. So both tokens are created over here. One is the accounting token, basically just create tickets. The other is the reward token, and we're going to give away the reward using the reward token. The liquid token is the one we need to deposit over here in order to get credits. Okay, so we need to save deposit liquidity token over here. So that's done by deposit. So So we can deposit amount if it's zero, not, and then it give you a ticket to remember that you deposit this amount, and this is one to one. So account token to the to the liquidity token is one to one. You give me one liquidity token, I will give you one accounting token. So this will send the liquidity token from the sender to this contract. Of course, you can withdraw the back, and it's just the opposite. Okay, you give me the ticket, I'm going to bring it, and I'm going to send the liquidity back token to you one to one. So this is where the rewards is distributed. Anybody can call this function to claim your reward if you deposit before. So in this reward pool, every 5 days they are going to give people reward. So every 5 days you can call this function and see if you can get reward. So let's say today is Tuesday. Okay, so let's say from Monday to Friday. So you call this function. If it's new ROM, then it's going to take a new snapshot. We call it snapshot. If it's not new ROM, then it's not going to record new snapshot. Okay, so let's say from day 1 to day 5 already passed. So basically we missed the first round. So let's say today is day 7 now. Okay, so depends on day 6 and day 7. If somebody called on day 6 or day 7, then this record snapshot is going to record a new one. Okay, so probably somebody already called this, but if the second kind you call this one, then it's not going to be record a snapshot anymore. Okay, because it's as newly was wrong, it's not going to be true. So what is newly was wrong? Newly was wrong is over here. Basically, the time is greater than last recorded snapshot timestamp. Okay, so that means when the last time recorded snapshot timestamp is finished, and then we need to plus 5 days. Okay, so if it's not greater than 5 days, then we are not going to record again. Okay, so only 5 days we record this. And then we are going to calculate how, basically this is going to count not the current money, it's going to count the last round. So in other words, it's going to be too late for now to get a reward. For this round, we already missed it. So in other words, in order to get money in round 2, you have to save money in round 1. In order to get the money in round 3, you have to save money in round 2. So it's always you get the reward in the next round, not in the current round. So if you want to get a reward in the next round, we have to deposit money right now. Then that's what it means. So this is going to check the last snapshot ID for rewards, which is for last round. Okay, so we are trying to distribute rewards in this round, but we trying to retrieve it from last round. So that's going to be total deposit of last round, all done, because so that's the whole for 4 to 5 days basically. And then we are able to calculate in the last round, the 5 days, how much you deposited, okay, by balance set, because the accounting token take the snapshot, right? And then we are going to check if both of them are greater than 0, then we're going to calculate how much we want you deserve. Basically, it's proportional. So the total deposit, and this is your deposit, and then times the rewards. So the rewards, this is the pi that divided by based on how much you deposit. If the reward is greater than 0 and you have not retrieved it, so how can we check if you have retrieved or not? Because check over here, because every time you retrieve it, uh, the time of your retrieval will be stored here. Okay, so if you retrieve right now, then it's going to check last recorded snapshot time slot. So that means you can only there are two conditions. The first condition is basically say this last reward timestamp account this value. If you retrieve, that means it's going to be in this window. Okay, so this is window that this is the beginning of the first round, which is the end of the last round. This is the end of the last round, and this is the end. This is the end of the last round, but also the beginning of the current round. And this is the end of the current round. So you have to retrieve your reward in between these. And if you already retrieve it, that means this is time retrieve, which is going to be between the beginning of this round and before the end of the last round. That means you retrieve it. Otherwise, this value should be smaller than the beginning of this round or the end of last round. Okay, so if you have not retrieved it, then this value should be smaller than this one. But if you already retrieve it, that means this one is going to be smaller than this one. But I think that there's also a problem with here. That means if you forgot to retrieve it, then it's going to be able to retrieve again. I think so. It's going to be really a problem here. I think I already see a bug, which is a security issue. So in other words, even you have retrieved it, but if you wait long enough, you can retrieve it forever. I think you can. So this is another, and other people can still reward it too, because even if you have retrieved it, all you need to do is just wait for more rounds. Then this condition is going to be false, because this condition says last account is smaller than this, and then it's going to be false if you wait it out, right? So anyway, that's another issue that we're not going to talk about over here. So so if you already have retrieved it, has retrieved reward, which I think is a problem for this function, is a bug over here. But anyway, if you have already retrieved it, then if you have not retrieved it, then you are able to mint it, mint the rewards. Okay, the reward token can mint, and of course, that mint is done by this contract, and this contract happens to have the mint rule to do it. Okay, so let me see where you can. So you can see that basically, because whoever deployed it, have the rule to meet. The constructor over here is by default initialize the owner, the caller, which is a deployer, have the mint rule. So in this case, the reward pool contract have the mint rule. So that's why we can mint it for the recipient. Okay, and then we record the current time of the reward claim time. So the current time of the reward claim time. And of course, if you claim this in the current round, then that will make both conditions to be true, right? Because you claim in the current round over here. Okay. So so that's very much for the for the distributed reward. And then you have a function called record snapshot. This call is going to call accounting token dot snapshot, which we already look at. Dot snapshot basically okay, accounting token dot snapshot. So accounting token dot snapshot over here simply call snapshot, okay, which is over here. So just increase the snapshot ID by 1, as you can see. So basically that's going to be essentially each run is going to create a new ID, as you can see. So each run, because so you're going to so this is going to be the current. This is going to be the last snapshot ID for rewards. So it's going to be this one. And then this is going to be last recorded snapshot timestamp. Okay. And then we are able to add long number plus 1 over here. So so this function is only called here. And only it's going to be called is new reward long, which is over here. Okay. So only after 5 days, in this case, this 5 days, only after 5 days we can call again. So this is a restriction over here. Only after 5 days we are able to record a snapshot to create a new last snapshot ID for rewards. Okay, so anything else? So that's it. So basically, all you need to do is maybe what you want to do. So probably you can think about how you can borrow money from the flash loan and try to deposit. And in this way, you borrow a lot, you can retain immediately. But unfortunately, the accounting system is going to record your deposit immediately, even you take it away. So that's going to be recorded, and you're going to get rewards, even though you just deposit in one transaction and return it back. So another thing I want to show you today is you can actually visualize all the contract by using this code. So what you can do today is you can. I'm going to just use git clone to clone the whole thing, which is easy. I hope you are doing the same thing for your project. So this code, I'm going to open the Visual Studio Code. I already installed it over here. And then I'm going to choose the folder. I'm going to choose the folder. In this case, okay, over here. So then vulnerable device. So all the contract are created. I'm just going to okay. So this is all the projects. I'm going to open today is the rewarder. So I'm going to open this one. And let's open the reward pool because this is the main. And as you can see already, use the T extension. So you go to extension over here. If you type the visual 3D visual development, 3D Okay, so Solidity visual development. Okay, Solidity visual developer already installed, so I don't need to do. So you can do that, and then once you have to do that, we're going to come back to this. All right, so then here's the trick. You can Control Shift P and then type Saya. Okay, as you see, then it's able to show the call graph. Nicely, right? So in this show graph, you can see all the function and they how they call each other. For example, there are two important functions over here. One is called call, the other is called withdraw. And the advocate just click the call. It's going to show you which function it's calling. And it's calling a function that outside or inside. For example, deposit is going to call the distribute rewards. And this is using the green line. So that means it's internal. But it's also going to call safe transfer lib over here, safe transfer from. So that's a function from a library. So it's external. Of course, it's going to use deleted code, but it's also calling mint, deposit calling mint over here, and so on. So this allows you to see who is calling whom and which contract is calling which contract. I can also click this one. I believe I can also just click this. Okay. So of course you can go to another contract, for example, Flash Cool, and then you can also Control Shift P, Control Shift P. So yeah, again. Okay, so you can also see the now I think you see both of them. This is the water pool, this is a flash dome, both of them together. So if it's too much, maybe I can close this one. Let me see if I can close this one. Okay, anyway, so yeah, you can maybe play this around and see how you can navigate this. So thank you so much. Have a nice day.